All right, looks like we are live again tonight. Good evening, everybody. This is another episode of Release the Quacken. This week we are going to be talking about how Week 18 went, what's coming up on Week 19, and we're going to talk with one of our guests again tonight. So we'll kind of go around the room, introduce everybody, and we'll go from there. So Jody is joining me tonight. How you doing, Jody?
I'm great. How are you this evening, Jeff?
I'm hanging in there.
Good.
We got Kevin with us tonight. How are you, Kevin?
Doing good. Ready for another week.
We have the Arkansas legend, Mr. Lonnie G. How are you doing today, Lonnie?
I'm doing well. I am not waiting for another week like Kevin, but I will persevere. How are you?
I am doing great. And we have our special guest tonight, Rhonda, and she is joining us from the Great White North, where it snows 365 days a year, and all these other "Oh Canada" references that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I always do enjoy that one. So, how are you doing, Rhonda?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing
Good.
well, thank you. So, this was kind of a short week mileage wise, right? This is like one of our 3 week breaks of how things are, or 2 week breaks before we jump into the big mileage again. So I think on the calendar we had our 45 minutes each, and then just an easy 6 mile coasting run, right? Is that
Well, it was at 6 miles with a magic mile, if you want to be technical, Jeff.
so 7 miles?
No, I think
No, it's
I think this
five
is
plus
five
one of the
with
Five
miles.
plus one.
Yeah.
I never know how that
How
works.
you adding
I
extra
never-
miles, man? Come on now.
So Kevin, how'd your training go this week?
So I had one good training run in during the week. It's been a pretty rough week at work, pretty busy, working late every night. So didn't get but one in this week. And then today I got in my 6 miler. Felt pretty good, but had a day yesterday of raking leaves. So I count that as cross training. That was about
Absolutely.
2 hours
Yeah.
and lots of time on my feet. I actually had more steps yesterday raking than I did running 6 today. So I'll count that as some time on the feet. So
Absolutely. Mr. Lonnie Gaines, how did yours go?
Well, it went well. I was one off. So Monday I did a 5 miler. Had to travel for work this week, but still was able to get a 45-minute training run in. Saturday I did basically 6.5. So I did an extra 0.5 or of a mile, and then I kind of still did my magic mile. So pretty good. No complaints.
Jody, you're back to our normal training plans now. How did yours go?
Yeah, I ran my 45 on Monday. I went to Orange Theory on Tuesday. It was Hell Week, which is a big deal there, although I did not fully participate because I don't need another t-shirt. Ran my 45 on Wednesday, did the lift class on Thursday, and swam my 2000 on Friday. And normally when I have a good swim, that typically means I'm going to have a bad run the next day. So I was a little nervous about Saturday because I don't know what it is, but good swim normally means bad run. But I got up early and did my 6 miles Saturday before heading out to soccer tournament. And I got that magic mile in. My formula, the one that I got from my training plan, said, do your first mile and a half as warm up, then next mile, a mile slower than race pace, next mile at race pace, and the mile 4 faster than race pace, and then cool it back down again. So that's what I tried to do. So got it done in the dark, really early in the morning, but it was done. So
I'm tired just listening to that whole week.
Right?
I think I'm gonna take a nap.
I think you're an overachiever.
yeah.
no, I don't know about that. I found that the strength training and then swimming is just my way to get off my feet and just because I don't listen to a podcast, I don't do anything, but I just sit there in the pool. So anyway, it's good for me. So how about
All right,
you, Jeff?
Rhonda?
Oh,
For me. No, all right, we can do me first. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I figured we'd save the best for last. The guest speaker. So.
All right. So for me this week, I got my 245s in. Still working on extending my intervals out a little bit, but I got both of those in. Basically, with my intervals, I've been just doing shorter ones, but I've been skipping some of my walk breaks every so often and trying to keep those in rhythm. Today, I went out and I got 10 miles in, which is the longest run I've had since Flying Pig back at the end of April, beginning of May. First 6 miles went good. The trail I was on was pretty rocky, had a lot of leaf cover, so I kind of took it easy on that just because it was kind of hard on the ankles. But we got through it, so got my 10 in and happy with it, and still ahead of the balloon ladies, so we'll count that as a win across the board and kind of go from there.
I'm always scared with the leaves that I'm going to slip on them. So I always
Yeah.
get, in particular, if they get wet,
Right.
I'm always paranoid of slipping and falling. So I'm a scaredy cat.
And watch
And
out for
with
those
that-
acorns too. Acorns are like marbles. So
Yeah.
And with that trail, there was so many pebbles and rocks, and just it wasn't like horrible, but you couldn't
Mhm.
see them, so you're stepping on them. It's just kind of your soles of your feet were getting sore, your shoes were getting worn more. So I just kind of took it easy after the first 6 and finished up.
Good plan. Good job.
Yeah, good job, man.
Yeah.
I can't do the leaf thing because knowing my luck, I'll step on a note rope or a snake.
Yeah.
I don't I don't mess around with the leaves.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I didn't see any because we're a little warmer, and typically they would go out and try to get on that concrete and stuff now. But
Yeah.
I was fortunate there. So, Rhonda, you are joining us from the Great White North we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And you are running Dopey this year. Is that the plan?
I am attempting my first Opie this year.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
you were in the same, are you doing the Galloway training plan as well? Or are you following the same?
I did switch back to the Galloway. Earlier this summer, I was trying the Higdon plan out for a bit, but just with different commitments this year, I switched back to Galloway just to prove to myself I could do it. So
Awesome. So how did your week go with your 45s and your 6?
a little challenging. I was traveling for work, so I didn't really get any of my weekday runs in, but I was walking probably a good 10K every day. So time on feet is all that matters. And then today I did a 6-mile walk just because I've been dealing with some work stress. So today I just wanted to enjoy the walk and get more time on my feet.
Yeah. Miles are miles no matter what. So
And I was actually quoting Jeff as I was walking. Forward is a pace. Forward is a pace.
I say that mantra a lot on some of these runs here lately, it seems.
No.
So, up until this point, training going well for the most part. Have you found you've been able to switch to the Galloway plan to get most of them in, or?
I have been struggling on a mental perspective of just trying to get the high mileage in. So the 17-miler one was challenging, but again, let's just get her done. And so I walked most of it. So that was all I could do.
yeah,
So
it's those
sorry.
big miles. I don't know if you've listened to any of the Galloway speakers talk, but I listen to Chris Twiggs quite a bit, and they'll tell you over and over again, it doesn't matter. Just get the miles in. So that's what's important. But it's hard to fit it all in with work and obligations and personal things and everything else. It gets to be quite a bit.
Oh,
It really does.
completely.
That's where the Galloway plan's a big difference from the Higdon plan too, is you have
Mhm.
less days, I think, overall running as you're going through. Your mileage is spread out more, but it's compact. The Higdon's much more compacted, so you got to get the same mileage in a shorter amount of time. So you're running more days a week at higher mileages. So,
Yeah.
have you taken on any of the big kind of races before? What's the longest you've done in the past?
Oh, I'm trying to think. In September, I did my local half marathon here. And again, it was a couple of weeks past me having COVID, so with residual breathing problems. So the fact of just trying to, again, getting that done. And I was, I believe, the last half marathoner to cross the finish line. And it was one of the most funnest races I have ever done in my life.
And guess what, Rhonda? Your medal is just as shiny as the person who crossed that finish line first. So
Yeah. And it was so much fun because I had met a lady from, she lived about 5 hours away from me, and we just met at the start line and we walked the whole way cheering everybody on. So I really extremely enjoyed that run, and I can't wait to do it again.
that's fabulous.
I've heard people call that running with a police escort. So, you're the most important person out there because the race cannot end till you get there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So was that your first half marathon you've done?
No, I had done a couple, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, but had gotten at it when I moved back home to Cape Breton here. I kind of stopped running for a while, so it took me a little bit to get back into the swing of things here. So
So
And I
your
know we're
first-
teasing you about living up north and the polar weather, but honestly, though, I am a little curious because I know where I live, we have some snow, but we have black ice is more of an issue that we deal with. So, how does the training now that we're getting into November, December, January, how does that impact you where you live and your training routine?
usually for me here, it usually doesn't start snowing until usually January or February. So I'm usually good for this time of year for training. Even today, the weather was gorgeous, and I'm out running in a t-shirt. So yeah, it's not really until usually January. Actually, when we went to Disney in 2020, it actually had a major blizzard the day we were actually traveling. And that seems to be the routine lately. The last few times we've gone, a big blizzard as the day that we leave.
that stress would bother me a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could handle that well.
Yeah.
So you're
So have you ever done a Disney race? Have you been?
I did in 2020. I did the 5 and 10K.
Okay.
And then we couldn't stay longer because we were on our way on a cruise. So
Oh, shucks.
I know, I was so sad.
So your first marathon is going to be a part of Dopey then.
My first in-person marathon. I did the Boston virtually last year or the year before.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
awesome.
I figure I will never time qualify, so this was my way to earn my unicorn medal.
That's awesome.
I don't know that I could do a virtual
Yeah.
marathon. I did some virtual halves during the COVID times, but well, not that we're out of COVID, but when in the peak of COVID times, I'm not sure I could do a virtual full.
It's hard.
That's just getting these training runs in are hard enough, but I don't know that I could. I need that, that crowd and the music and the distraction of other runners. I don't know. Kudos to you. I don't think I could do that.
I had a friend keep me company for about a good 10 miles, just chatting away. So it was lovely.
That's nice. That's nice.
So,
I heard on I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Judy.
I said I heard on a podcast today that somebody they left them messages, voice recordings. They could listen to it during the last couple miles of their marathon, which I thought was kind of a creative way of getting yourself through the last few miles. I don't know if they had to dial into their voicemail every minute or so. I think I'd be worried I'd drop my phone and was being all sweaty and gross. But I thought that was a creative way of getting through your miles. I'm like, maybe a training run or something. I got to do that. Have somebody leave me a really long voicemail.
I got some of those back whenever I did the Columbus and the Akron marathons back in 2019, because some of those miles were a struggle and people were sending me just voice messages that I see. I had a message on my watch that came through, and then I had text messages I could read on there, and I had a few voice messages. I could just, instead of having to try to read something, I pulled the phone out of my running vest and hit the button. You could just hear them through my headphones, and that's definitely a huge uplift whenever you start to struggle in some of those long miles, for sure.
That's great.
For sure. Because it gets rough, especially after 17. That's when it starts getting real hard, because you're on a lot of times in open road miles, and it's just a slog. You're just trying to crank them out. Not die. Yeah. That's when zombie time happens and everybody's kind of dragging and slugging.
What is it? Western Way? Is that the road that everybody?
Oh yeah.
So obviously you ran the 5 and 10 at Disney World in 2020. Good experience apparently, because you're going back to do it again. So what made you decide you wanted to do this again? And then furthermore, jump from the 5 and 10K to going for Dopey?
So probably for me, the reason I started running was, oh my gosh, probably I want to say about 8 years ago, a friend of mine tricked me into running. Actually told me that I could do a run anywhere, including Disney. So I went home, Googled the medals, and I wanted to earn a Mickey medal. So this is my my chance to finally earn my my Mickey medal. And if I'm getting the Mickey medal, I might as well go for all of them. So
That's
I was gonna say
awesome.
there's easier ways to get a Mickey medal. You know?
I know the springtime surprise, it was only going to be a half marathon, and I would have gotten Mickey if I had realized that.
Well,
Hey, I like your rationale. You like, if I'm going to get a Mickey medal, I might as well get all the medals. I'll run out there with 6. I'm good. Right. So
Right?
you're traveling for such a long way to get there. You might as well just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. 3,000 air miles and 48.6 miles running, about the equivalent.
Yeah. Works for me.
So what's your plan to fly in? Are you planning to get there day of the expo? Are you flying in a little early, not knowing about weather stuff? What do you kind of have that figured out yet?
We ended up changing our flights, so we're actually flying in New Year's Day.
Oh,
Because I am very worried and paranoid about changing of flights. And since I've booked my flights, the airline has already moved them twice.
Ooh.
So so then we were flying on the 2nd, so we bumped it to the 1st just on the just to give us that buffer.
nice.
probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Are you staying on property when you go down?
We are staying at French Quarter.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So you get 3 days of beignets before you can start the expo.
Right.
You make sure you get plenty of rest and plenty of beignets before that, because waking up at 2:00 in the morning, it doesn't get easy. So it gets harder every day.
I think that's going to be the hardest part.
Now you're an hour ahead of East Coast time, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
1 hour ahead of East Coast time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, so it's even harder for you.
It'll be skipping in an hour though.
Oh yeah, I guess it's true. You kind of
Yeah, going east to west is easier than west to
That's
east.
true. That's
That's
true. It's
true,
the
yeah.
West Coast people that really suffer.
Right.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was doing my calculations wrong there.
Your globe was spinning backwards.
Yeah, just whatever. Okay, so do you have any plans for costumes or ideas yet? Have you thought any of that through, or are you just going to wear regular old running gear?
No, I'm doing costumes.
Good for you.
Yeah, Disney bounding all 4 races. So
I love it.
Oh, that's impressive.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
with the full just being dressed as Dopey, so kind of the lizard yellow green shirt with a purple tutu and a hat. So
That's where the lizard color kind of comes in handy. With then you get the purple hat, and you kind of got it locked in. So
that's kind of what I thought.
That's awesome. Have you run in a tutu before?
Yes, because one of the local races about 5 hours away, it's always a bunch of a sea of tutus. So
Awesome.
yeah.
I tried a tutu once, and I don't know if I just bought the wrong one. Sorry, guys. I know you're totally bored with this, but I don't know if I bought the wrong one or whatever. But it was the way my arms touched it. It was like it was like itchy and awful. I'm like, so the sparkle type skirts I can do, but I've learned pretty quickly I can't do a tutu. It was not for me. So, but I'll wear the sparkle skirts all the time. So.
I
I
had
have the same problem, Jody. It's crazy.
I know. Well, wait until you guys see what I have planned. I may go a little crazy on the half marathon day. I'm playing around with an idea. If I can get it affordable enough, Tim's gonna divorce me over it. He's gonna be so happy, but that's all right.
it's full stormtrooper costume, right? Is that
Oh,
what it is?
sure. That's totally what I'm gonna do. Yes.
Or a
And
full
then
Chewbacca
spell
costume in
Stormtrooper
90
again.
degrees.
Can you spell Stormtrooper? Are they good guys, bad guys? No, I'm kidding.
But it depends.
I'm kidding.
there's some
I
good
know
ones.
at least that much.
So what are you looking forward to most when you go down there? What do you think your excitement's going to be?
Oh, I just want to see everybody. I kind of miss all my running friends. I love hanging out with the lizards, so I really want to see everybody in person.
And don't worry, I'm sure Lonnie will photobomb a photo for you. So you'll get that experience. He's great at that.
Yeah. I even
It's
checked my
incredible.
2020 pictures to see if Lonnie was in them, but
You never know.
Possibly.
He was not in any of my photos from this year, not one. I mean, not photobombing. He was in a purposeful photo, but he never photobombed me once. So I don't know. It's a challenge, Lonnie. We'll have to see if you accept it this year. But
I was in a lot of his photos, but we've
Challenge
never
accepted.
seen those still. Just tossing it out there, Lonnie.
Yeah. Well, I have my theories on that. I'll just, stop right there.
it's kind of weird, saying that you're excited about hanging out with people at 3, 4 in the morning, all huddled up, getting ready to run. But it is a pretty special situation about getting together and then saying to someone like, "Oh my gosh, it's nice to meet you in person," because you feel like you know everyone, yet you haven't met them all. It's always nice to, I don't know. It's just a special community. I enjoy it so much. I'm excited for you.
I am excited.
For all of us,
Yeah.
it'd be great. So, what are you most nervous about in the whole between now and coming up to the race?
Ooh.
Races.
Probably travel. That is my biggest concern because it is winter. Some of the airlines here can be a little bit tricky. So I even have as a backup that I will drive the 3,000 miles to get, not that I want to do this, but this is my backup plan. So.
Wow. Yeah.
Are you near like a larger airport that gets down there? Do you have a lot of connections to go through, or how hard is it to get there?
We thought we had it booked pretty easily, that we actually had a direct flight from Halifax, which is about 5-hour drive from my place to Orlando, but that's when they started changing our flights to get us, and they put us in Toronto, and I was really worried about connecting in that one, just because I understand that one can be a little bit of a cluster with the losing of luggage. So all of my running gear will be in mine and my husband's carry-on.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah. I can buy new clothes when I get down there. I can't buy new running gear.
Yeah. Has anyone ever watched that? I've never watched it in full, but there's that show on maybe, I don't know, HGTV or one of those stations, all about lost luggage, and they go and they bid on visas, not knowing
Like storage orders.
So I used to travel for work for about 7 years. So I have my name on inside every zipper, pocket, nook, cranny, my name, my phone number, my address, I'm a Delta flyer mainly, my Delta Sky Miles number. I have it like, here's a little pocket. Let's put it in there. I'm going to put it under here. Like I have, it's the same when I mail packages. I put the address on the inside of the package and the outside, because I'm always worried that if something happens, then I'm like paranoid.
Very smart.
About losing all that. So I put it,
It's a good idea.
place.
It's a good idea. I do the same.
Yeah, silly. Yeah. Well, I don't blame you for being nervous about travel, but it sounds like you've got a good plan. You're giving yourself some buffer and some days, and
right.
I know that our dining window is opening up. Have you thought a little bit about where you want to eat and how that's going to work?
I haven't really been paying attention to or thinking about where I want to eat yet.
Well,
So
yours
yours
opens
will
up
open up
Thursday.
in 2 days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Hers might be open now, right? She's gone on the 1st. So it should.
I get theirs
Today
the
or
3rd,
tomorrow.
I think, and mine opens Friday.
Okay, you're 3rd and Friday. So you
So-
have Tuesday?
Okay. Yep. I'm gonna
Sorry,
have to
not to
pick
add any-
places.
Yeah,
We're
not to
sorry,
add
we
any
don't
extra-
mean to add additional stress to you. You're like, my hope is that since you have, you're flying in on the 1st, hopefully, a lot of people won't be traveling that particular day, and you can get in with no problems. That's our hope. And that's, we're going to speak it. We're going to put it out there for you. You have no problems at all.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping.
Anybody else have any other questions for Rhonda and her travel, her experiences, anything like that before we move on to what's coming up on week 19? All right. So week 19, that's a big week coming up here, guys. What do we got lined up for week 19? Not to
It
kind of
is-
dramatize that at all, but
Dun, 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 week 19. It is a little scary. So yeah, we got the two normal, 45 minutes. That's that we know.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Check and check. Then we have an 8.5-mile walk and a 20-mile run walk. So, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. So it's big time now. So the 2:45s and 8.5 and 20. Everybody have their kind of plan in place, what they're planning on doing for that, where they're gonna knock out those miles.
my first 45 will happen easy. My second 45, I'm planning to do around the expo at Wine and Dine. The 8.5 mile, I'll probably make multiple laps around World Showcase, probably with a drink in my hand.
I was gonna say, food and beverage.
Right, that's cross training.
Yeah, you get the arm workout.
And since I only did 10 last week, I'll take whatever I get on Sunday as time on my feet, and we'll count this week as a win. That I'll probably be where I need to be heading into the week following that. So, but this is a good week to practice all your fuelings, running, and different stuff that you might be wearing down there. These races are long. You really need to get that dialed in. You don't know what they're going to have on course, so make sure you're drinking lots of water. No kidney stones for people. That's bad news.
Lots of water and hydrate early. Start now.
Yep.
Start today. Start drinking water
Well,
today.
you said that. I just went over to grab my water cup and it's not sitting there. So
I had that with me in my car. So as I did my loops today, I stopped and grabbed a drink going through. But absolutely got to start working on this stuff.
Does everybody have a path laid out? I know that's one of the harder things to figure out when you start getting into those major miles. A lot of people loop the same, couple times, or everybody thought that through.
Yeah, I've got a park near my house that's 0.7 of a mile. Last year when I did it, I did 20 miles on that, and that was hard.
Ouch.
But the good thing is it's not very hilly, so I don't want to. If I go anywhere else, it's all hills, so it's kind of hard to. I don't know. I'll be thinking about it this week.
I feel you with those hills, Kev.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Lonnie? Do you have a path figured out for your 20?
Well, yeah, for the 8, I'm going to probably go over to the river, walk the river path. It's 8 hours to get to the Clinton Library. So I'll probably just maybe park, go halfway, come back, so there's a nice little trail for that. And for the 20, I'm actually going to do it on my treadmill and watch a couple of movies.
Oh,
wow. On the treadmill.
Well, we have my treadmill has this really big monitor. So it has Apple TV on it. I'm going to rent a couple of movies and I'll watch that. It'll help the time go by. Keeps my mind focused.
Yeah.
I've tried that. I cannot do that. I do not have the mental fortitude to do that.
Well, It's supposed to rain next Saturday, right? So I hate running in the rain. In fact, I was stuck in the corral. I think it was for the last dark side, and it started raining, and I was like, I may go back to the room. That's how much I hate running in the rain, right? But I stayed out. I did tough it out. The whole time I was running, I was like, I hate the rain. I hate the rain.
What about you, Rhonda? Have you figured out a path yet for your 20?
For me, it's gonna depend on the weather. So if it is raining too hard, I sadly will also be on the treadmill. But if it's a decent day, I'll probably walk on the other side of the harbor and just walk as far as I can. And I have a sister who lives over there, so she'll usually, when I did the 17-miler, she drove me home afterwards. So
Nice.
Good sister.
Absolutely.
Because if I do it by my house, I will use that as an excuse to go home.
Yeah.
It's very hard not to do, for sure.
Yeah.
So, well, we appreciate you coming on, Rhonda, and talking about your experiences and stuff with us and what's coming up. We're all looking forward to meeting you. And I don't know that any of us have met you yet, have we? Has anybody got to meet Rhonda?
I don't think so. I think I caught a glimpse of Lonnie in 2020, but that was about it. So.
Just a housekeeping note before we get off of here tonight. The Duck Crew is working on putting together an order form for shirts for the half marathon. If anybody's interested in joining us, Basic design is going to have a big running Donald on a blue shirt. We're still kind of figuring out what kind of blues and all that fun stuff, but we're going to have that order form out here in the next couple of days. You'll see it in the Facebook group. If you're not in it, please go join. If you're listening to us on the podcast, if you want to join us for the half marathon, we'd love you to come on. You'll have the Disney with the Ducks logo on the back. For the 5K, a lot of us are ordering or have ordered Mighty Ducks hockey jerseys. So we're going to be representing the Mighty Ducks as we go out through there. So if anybody has interested in that, obviously feel free to get one of those. But yep, anybody that wants to join the flock and see us on race day, absolutely feel free to. So.
And if you don't know, the half marathon is Donald Daisy themed. So,
right.
So our shirts are going to be Donald, and that's the main marathon the marathon is typically held for the main man, Mickey Mouse. So, but the half is Donald's race. So
absolutely
kind of fun.
So I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have anything they need to add on here before we hop off for the night?
Well, I just want to thank Rhonda for taking time to join us tonight and sharing her experiences. Really appreciate you for that. Looking forward to, like I say, meet you in January. And for everybody who sees Jeff in the parks this week, he may be doing his loop around World Showcase, lifting weights. Feel free to say hey to him, say hi. He doesn't bite. He's very friendly. So
absolutely. And we may have stickers with us. So come say hi. We don't charge too much for autographs. I know we have a big group of people. I mean, I'm international movie star now. I mean, we are kind of that level.
Right.
So,
that's right.
But come over, say hi. Absolutely. If you see us in the parks. So, but if nobody else has anything, on behalf of the other coast here, again, extend our thanks to Rhonda for joining us. And remember, everybody, to have a great week, and forward is apace.
Thanks,
See you
everyone.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.